All right, this is the video tutorial that goes with the homework if you need additional help with that. So I'm not going to be copying exactly what the questions are, but I'm going to be doing something very similar. So the first one here says x plus 2y equals 3. So I'm going to copy that down. But then for the next one, I'm going to be typing in something a little bit different. So that says 3x plus 5. I'm going to mix the numbers up. I'm going to put 5x plus 3. And then what we're looking for on a system is where do the two lines cross? So I would look at my answer here, and that's the only answer to this question. This is the only place these cross. So for this question here, I would be selecting no, but obviously I typed in the wrong question. So you'll have to check yours to see if it's correct. Same with question two. Type in the system, look to see where they cross. If it crosses at 2, 6, you should select yes. And if it doesn't, you should select no. Then as we get to question three, we got a little bit more going on here. So, whoops, I'm going to put my calculator. There we go. So this time, x plus 6y equals 48. And, and I'm going to do a slightly different question. I'm going to do x plus y equals -8. Now, right now, I don't see everything on here, so I might need to zoom out a little bit. There we go. So on my question, it crosses at -19.2, comma, and I forgot the other number already, 11.2. Oops. But once again, I typed in the wrong equation, so got the wrong answer. And you can do that for numbers 3 and also for numbers 4. As we get to 5 and 6, we've got additional options this time. Sometimes we've got no solution. Sometimes we've got infinite solution as well. Now, we already talked about the first two. The first two answers are just as it cross at those 2 points. So to show you an example of no solution and infinite solution, let me make up a really simple equation. Y equals 2x plus 3. Y equals 2x. Let's go with plus 1. Now, for this one here, if you notice, these are parallel lines. So I know I could zoom out here as well. But sometimes if I zoom out too much, they get a little too close and you think they might cross. So these ones are never going to cross. And for that reason, that would be an example of no solution. Now, infinite solutions is when they're exactly the same. Now, it's pretty obvious if I type in 2x plus 3 for both of them, that these are the same lines. That would be infinite solution. So they normally try and disguise it a little bit, perhaps by rearranging the equation. So it's written in a slightly different way, but you can still see it's the same line here by deselecting one line or the other. So if it's exactly the same line, you should select infinite solutions. And if they're parallel lines, which will never cross, you should select no solution. And if it crosses through one of these 2 points here, you should select that, if that's where the intersection is. For the graphing part, I'll graph one of the 2 lines, and then you can work out the other one. So 3x minus 6. If we're not sure, remember, you can actually just graph this as well. You can use your calculator to help. Y equals 3x minus 6. And sometimes we will get lucky. And when I say lucky, I mean that the intercepts will both be whole numbers. So you could actually plot 0, -6, and you could plot 2, 0 for this one. Now, I'm not quite going to do that. I am going to go with -6 because that's the y-intercept. But I want to plot the slope here. So a slope of 3, remember you have to put it over 1 if it's not a fraction, means you rise 3 squares and then you run 1 square. And you'll notice that also goes through that point 2 there as well. And you can do the same for this one. And then once you've graphed them, you can just look to see where their intersection is by actually clicking on a button. -2/3 x plus 4. I'm going to go straight into the graphing mode for this one without typing this one in. I know I'm going to start from 4 on the y-axis and a slope of -2/3. The negative only applies to the top number. So instead of going up, I go down 2. And then I count across 3 squares. And then do the same for the red one, and then you can see where they cross. Question 9, 4 minus x. So this one they've kind of written the wrong way around. We normally have the x first and the number afterwards. So it's important that we know the number without the x is the slope. Is the y-intercept even. So that would be 4. And then as there's no number here, I know this is 1. So -1, that slope means you go down 1, and then you have to go across 1. And that would be an easy one really to graph because look, you notice that the intercepts here are both whole numbers, and that would really help you out as you do that. And for the last one, the red line is already graphed because I have difficulty in graphing the x lines programming wise. You can plot y equals 5. Remember Hoy and Vux as you're doing this one. So this is one of the reasons why we got a vertical line here, VUX, a vertical line going through -4 on the x-axis. And then you can do a similar thing with Hoy to figure out what a line would look like. Of course, you can easily just type in y equals 5 as well, and that will work. All right, that should get you through these 10 questions. Make sure you use that Desmos calculator, and that will help you to find those answers.